It's finally Friday. Time now for another Discuss vid. A few days ago, we actually celebrated an anniversary over at Rockstar Games' YouTube channel. Grand Theft Auto Online official gameplay video came out August 15th, 2013, giving us a small glimpse and taste of what was to come in GTA Online. Now, at this point, I was mainly interested in Grand Theft Auto 5's story, because in 2013, I was still mostly about story mode games, single play. I still love single play games, by the way. But Grand Theft Auto Online did change me to some degree, from just being about single play game to also enjoying online experiences. Beforehand, I was all about focusing on Grand Theft Auto 4's story, even though there was a multiplayer element to Grand Theft Auto 4, as well as a multiplayer element to Red Dead Redemption. It wasn't as appealing to me as the story itself, the single play aspect. The same thing goes for the 3Ds, like Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories, and back to the top-downs. Grand Theft Auto, the very first one, 97, when I was a kid, playing on Friday nights, Saturday nights with my friends, taking turns, wreaking havoc. And then a couple years later with GTA 2, the lesser known of the Grand Theft Auto games. Basically, it was just like a slightly upgraded version, tweaked out, kind of a futuristic version of the original Grand Theft Auto game. It was okay, but obviously the least known. So I've been a big single-player game all my life. We could just have a nice long laundry list of games that I've played, mostly single-play. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Grand Theft Auto Online and our experiences together and what constitutes real Grand Theft Auto Online players. And let me know below in the comment section, when did you begin your journey in Grand Theft Auto Online? Was it all the way back on last gen, launch October 2013, Xbox 360 like me, or PS3? Current gen in 2014, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, or 2015 on PC? Or did you just start a few months ago? Let us know below in the comment section, when and where did you begin your misadventures in Grand Theft Auto Online? And I remember the joy of, first and foremost, creating my own online character. It was very similar to Skyrim. It's one of the reasons why I liked Skyrim so much in games like it, where you had control over the protagonist. You can make him or her look like almost whatever you wanted them to look like. Now, I do like story mode games where they have established characters and voice acting and all that stuff, but I also like to have control over my protagonist. And that's what Grand Theft Auto Online allowed us to do, to create our character, male or female, different parents, whether it was Claude or John Marston as your dad, or someone else as your mom, and then you would pick out that look. Obviously a bit more advanced in current gen and PC than was last gen, but you were able to make that look, him or her, your character. Then you would eventually pick out the type of clothing you wanted that character to wear. And some of us gave our characters names, like me, for example, Janine on the Xbox One, my oldest character, Wolfstein on PS4, and my newest character on PC, Claudette, because I only started playing PC a few months ago. And what's very interesting is we did a Discuss video a while back about our protagonist background stories, how each of us seems to have a background story for our protagonists, and it just shows us how invested we are in that character that we've created, that we've been playing with, ranking up from rank 1 to rank 100 and going on into rank 300, 400 plus territory. And to this day, there's still people that leave comments in that video talking about their character's background, whether it's a sentence or a paragraph. It's always interesting to see people's different stories about their character, where they came from, what was their life like, which cliche movie roles do they borrow from, or TV shows that make up the background of their characters. It's always fascinating to go back and see those. But it does amaze me that there are some videos I have that still continue to pique interest from viewers out there in the land of YouTube, even several weeks, months, or years later. But the background video definitely still has some viral interests in the Grand Theft Auto Online community. And that's because we are obviously invested into our Grand Theft Auto Online character. And the longer you've been playing Grand Theft Auto Online, the deeper that bond is. It's kind of like your own kid in a way, or your own persona in this video game, however you wish to to look at it. And so I could say that I've been invested in this game in nearly 5 years, with Janine on Xbox One, all the way back to 360, Will Stein on PS4, and most recently Claudette on PC. And the moment you get into the game, and you get the tutorial video, you're flying into Los Santos, Lamar picks you up at the airport, you go do the tutorial race. By the way, those of us that were there on launch day, fist bump for enduring launch day. What was it? 2 or 3 days we had to endure that, where it would freeze in the tutorial video, and we'd have to listen to Soulwax for like 5, 10, 20 plus minutes before we finally gave up. And it's the big reason why I still dislike Soulwax to this day. It ingrained itself into me in a very negative way. But we're talking about the positives when it comes to Grand Theft Auto Online. We're going to try and avoid the negatives, because there's plenty of negatives out there, obviously. But the moment you got the tutorial done, you're learning about this world you are now in, rags to riches. You're starting out as a low-life, low-level street thug. The goals, the hopes, the dreams to one day work your way up to some sort of criminal superstar, anti-hero, kingpin, mob boss. At the very beginning, you have nothing except for the clothes on your back, and I think a pistol, and I think maybe a few $1,000s in your maze bank account. And that very first vehicle you picked up off the street and you stole and you sold to make a few more $1,000 at Los Santos Customs, or the first time you went and robbed a gas station to get a few more $1,000, just kind of scratching at the very bottom, slowly but surely trying to work your way up as you ranked up and you unlocked more contact missions, races, survivals, death matches, LTSs, adversary modes, more opportunities to make money in the game in order to increase your maze bank account, in the hopes and dreams of living it in Los Santos. The very first car you owned, the very first vehicle I owned in the game back on the 360 was the Dominator, aka the Mustang. I love muscle cars, and that was the very first vehicle I ever owned. And it was just so cool to get a car off the street, go to Los Santos Customs, and Simeon, I think, paid for a few of the upgrades to it. Really wasn't that much, but still kind of cool. And also connected you to Grand Theft Auto Story, because Simeon and a few others are also in Grand Theft Auto 5. And yeah, eventually got enough money. I think it was like $20,000, $25,000 to get a 2-car garage. And you were just excited because, yes, I finally have a place to put my Dominator. And then I went back on the street and I'm like, okay, I need another car. Oh, there's a Gauntlet. I'm going to go grab a Gauntlet. Now I have a Gauntlet and a Dominator. I'm good to go. And eventually you keep making more money, and you go from a 2-car garage to an apartment with a 6-car garage, and you're like, yes, now I can have 6 cars, 6 of them. And then you would scour around looking for cars driving around that you could actually keep. It was very disappointing whenever you would grab like a Bullet and you would try to pull it into Los Santos Customs or into your garage, and it was like, this vehicle cannot be sold, or you cannot have this vehicle. If you want one, you have to go buy it. And you're like, oh, damn it, I have to go actually buy a Bullet. And eventually you made enough money to get a high-end apartment, because at the time in Grand Theft Auto Online, the official gameplay video, that was the thing, right? To get your very own high-end apartment where you could have a 10-car garage. That was it. That was the top of the world. And one property, just one, up until the High Life update. And I think it was sometime in 2014 when we were able to get 2 high-end apartments, or 2 10-car garages, which means we had the ability to own 20 cars. And that was amazing. Quite amazing. So you go from having 1 car and a 2-car garage to high-end apartments as far as the eye can see, to all these other businesses now. And ranking up from 1 to 100 and 400, 500, whatever rank you are now. And earning all that money, whether it was through like doing contact missions for Lamar, Gerald, Lester, Ron, Trevor, Martin, doing races. Eventually, we got into the heists, which definitely felt like a piece of this game, as I mentioned previously, that was missing. Now, if you go by the official gameplay video, heists was supposed to actually be in the game at launch, or shortly after launch, but there were issues with heists, and so it kept getting delayed, and it made a lot of us salty about it, because we were really wanting to try out the heists, because the heists were so much fun in Grand Theft Auto 5 Story, but Rockstar had issues with them. They had to fix them, they had to break them down, rebuild them, and then finally, March 2015, we finally got heists, and I still thoroughly enjoy heists, and I consider heists to be one of the best DLCs in the game, because it added a piece to the puzzle that was missing in Grand Theft Auto Online. And there's so many other challenges that come with the Heist update, including the big one, the Criminal Mastermind Challenge. So from the very first time you complete Fleeka Job or Fleesa Job, however you pronounce it, with a friend, that felt like an accomplishment. And every time you managed to go from there to Prison Break, to Humane Labs, to Series A funding, all the way to Pacific Standard. And during the finale, the very first time some of my friends and I, was it on the 360? Or I think it was the 360. That, like Finn, myself, I think his brother, and another friend of theirs, like, we were up all night trying to finish the finale to Pacific Standard. And it was gut-wrenching. I mean, we were salty as hell. We were tired. But finally, we did it. We managed to beat it for the very first time. Now, there's a lot of other sneaky ways to get around beating Pacific Standard finale. Back then, we didn't know any better, so we would just try our best with the motorcycles. Eventually, we gave up and we would just grab a cop car. I think that's how we did it eventually, was we just stole a cop car, and we were lucky enough to have enough, body armor and snacks on us in order to pull it off. But we were very relieved when we finally did the finale to Pacific Standard. It felt like an accomplishment, like we actually did this thing from start to finish. And then later on, we went back and we did the Criminal Mastermind Challenge, and a month or so ago, I did it again on the PS4 with Riley, Kane, Cormac, and that was a very fun live stream. There was definitely some salty moments, but it was so awesome when we finally finished it. It just felt like an accomplishment. And I felt the same thing that I felt the first time I did Criminal Mastermind on the Xbox One. Or was it the Xbox 360? It's been a while. But anyways, these accomplishments, these feelings of getting that contact mission done, difficult ones that weren't as difficult whenever you learn how to do them right, like Rooftop Rumble or Los Santos Connection or Titan of a Job or Trash Talk. The different strategies you would entail, like instead of going in on the ground and Trash Talk, you could just get a buzzard attack helicopter, which made the job a lot easier, unless it's the final boss in which you have to land and you have to shoot him or beat him to death, because if you lob a missile at him, it fails the mission because there's a glitch in the game. But now that would make you salty as hell to see another player do that, especially when you're grinding Trash Talk, which I still absolutely love, is one of my favorite contact missions. And that's just another thing. The favorite things that we enjoy doing as a community in Grand Theft Auto Online. We all have different tastes, don't we? Each and every one of us. Whether you're into the grinding of contact missions, doing the heists, doomsday heists, or even the sales now, because we have tons of sale opportunities. From the warehouses, vehicle warehouses, the bunker arms trade, hangars, the biker businesses, and now with what came with the nightclubs and the after hours update, a lot of people love selling in the game. They love seeing their income build up, even though it's passive, and eventually they take that along with a crew, and then they go make a profit off of it. And then they start the cycle over again. Making friends, playing with friends, that's the big win, the major appeal to any online game. Grand Theft Auto Online is no exception. Forming crews, along with organizations, motorcycle club, and there's so many different groups, niches within this community, like the lowriders, the bikers, racers, pilots, grinders, those in the PvP, or PvE like me. I prefer contact missions and heists, but some people are more about, getting into a gunfight with other players, or dogfights, or doing the adversary modes, or death matches, or LTSs, or even things less hectic, like just going to a car show, whether it's sports cars, muscle cars, supercars, some of the wild crazy cars in the game. Everyone that's into stunning with bikes or off-road vehicles or with planes and helicopters. And most recently, everyone that's into dancing in the nightclubs, trying to keep the beat, trying to dance long enough to unlock those, black t-shirts for the different acts, like Solomon, Televus, Dixon, the Black Madonna. And so much has been created because of Grand Theft Auto Online, from all the various jobs to the creator. And so much talent involved too, from races to death matches to LTSs to stunt races. With snipers versus stunners, for example. And that's still a very popular LTS, and there's so many others out there as well that have been made by this community that we enjoy doing. And some of the best races out there are made by the creators that are so talented at making epic, awesome, gut-wrenching stunt races. So you got plenty of people out there creating things because of Grand Theft Auto Online, whether it's sweet Snapmatic photos or vids through the Rockstar editor, funny moments, machinimas, tons of documentaries out there that have been made by various channels, fellow content creators and streamers that still to this day, including myself, love making content and playing this game, even though it's going on 5 years now. Whether you do Grand Theft Auto Online news, how-to guides, reviews, rants, Rockstar logics, various vehicle testings like Bruffy does with lap times, top speeds, or like with Pyrealm, testing the vehicles that are weaponized, which one's good, which one's bad, the various leak videos, theories, I've done plenty of those, along with speculations, DLCs we'd like to see in the future, wild and crazy ideas like expansions, naval DLCs, as well as the ongoing concern, end of life, how much longer will Rockstar continue to support Grand Theft Auto Online? Is there an end date in sight? Because we are approaching the launch of Red Dead Redemption 2 in October, followed shortly most likely by Red Dead Online. Will Grand Theft Auto Online survive the launch of Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online? Hopefully. Even though I personally am very excited for Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online, I still very much want to be part of what's going forward in the Grand Theft Auto Online community. But hopefully Rockstar is not finished with Grand Theft Auto Online yet, especially with how popular it still is. It's very difficult to imagine how much further they can go because it feels like they've done just about everything, and a bit of it has gone a little sci-fi-ish, a little Saints Row, like with most recently the Oppressor Mark II or the Deluxo, various other vehicles. It's got a little cray-cray in Grand Theft Auto Online, but there's also still plenty of really sweet stuff in the game that makes it grounded as well, depending on what you prefer, whether it's low riding or biking or car showing or simply flying around doing dogfights or sweet stunts. Grand Theft Auto Online has definitely grown to the point to where it appeals to many different types of players and gamers. And you can find just about anything to do in this game. There's just so many opportunities, so many ways to make money, so many different things to do. Like we mentioned, from contact missions, heists, doomsday heists, the various property sales, adversary modes. There's a ton of adversary modes. Some of them are actually quite good. Others, not so much. Races, death matches, LTSs, captures, survivors, various free mode activities, simply just driving around, which is one of my favorite things to do. Hop into one of my sports cars or muscle cars or supercars or even in a plane or a helicopter. Just fly around the map. And every now and then, there's still a moment in this game, going on nearly 5 years later, where you stop in awe how beautiful the game still is. Like during sunset, sometimes when the sun is setting on the west side of the map, just off of Vespucci Beach, and just like there's oranges and yellows and pinks and some clouds, it just looks absolutely beautiful. Or when you're looking at it like behind the skyscrapers in downtown Los Santos, or the mountains up north in Blaine County, or you're just looking at it from a great distance regarding how alive this world is, with the exception of the fact that we still don't have animals for some reason, but I digress. It just amazes me how much I still enjoy playing Grand Theft Auto Online, going on nearly 5 years. And the big reason is because of fellow gamers out there, those that I've made friends with, viewers, subscribers, fans that I play on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. They're what really keeps this game interesting to me, because you can go in and do several live streams. Like this past week, we've been doing client jobs. And each live stream, different stuff happens. Even though they're the same client jobs, like somebody will do something really random and silly, or something ridiculous will happen, or somebody says something. And then you just start cutting into jokes, and you start goofing off and flying around doing dumb stuff with the Oppressor Mark II or with the Terabyte, trying to shoot down planes with the lousy missile launcher system that it came with, or the one you have to purchase. And you just laugh about all of it. The good stuff, the bad stuff. It really amazes me and impresses me how far the Grand Theft Auto Online community has gone since launch October 2013. And it's surprising that it's still going, even up to the launch of Red Dead Redemption 2. Nearly 5 years later, where plenty of games, even multiplayer games, have come and gone and died within weeks or months of launching. It is amazing that going on nearly 5 years, Grand Theft Auto Online still has a place on the mountain, while others have tumbled and fallen off the mountain much further down without getting as far up as, say, Grand Theft Auto Online. I realize it's not the very top. I mean, I guess you could say Minecraft and World of Warcraft are a little bit higher up the mountain. But still, 5 years, pretty good for a video game. Compared to the fact that a lot of games come and go within a few weeks or even, if they're lucky, a few months after launch. Meanwhile, Grand Theft Auto Online continues to grow. And hopefully, as long as there's still a community revolved around Grand Theft Auto Online, as long as there's still people enjoying it, playing it week in and week out, millions of people around the world, and Rockstar still actually has ideas for future updates, maybe even expansions if we get lucky, until we inevitably get Grand Theft Auto 6. But I would prefer it if Rockstar would just keep Grand Theft Auto Online alive and just keep it going all the way through Grand Theft Auto 6 and simply just add the map to Grand Theft Auto 6, hopefully revolved around Vice City and maybe South Florida, the Key West, maybe some islands. That would be nice. Just add it as a new location for us to go to. Allow us to keep our characters, to keep what we've built all the way from 2013 going forward to whenever they decide to launch Grand Theft Auto 6. Hopefully that will be somewhere in the near future, maybe in the 2020s.